Hello, and welcome to another Sinister Sunday. This is part of our mini-series, Haunted Houses. This one's all the way in Honolulu. Let's see what's going on here. The Kasha House of Kamauki. In ancient Japan, the literal translation of the name Kasha is fire cart. It is a creature that frequented populated areas where its dietary substance consisted of fresh human corpses. According to lore, these creatures are a type of bake neko living among human beings under the guise of a common house cat or stray. They are bipedal and larger than most humans. They're accompanied by flames from hell. In these flames is where they make their advent in the evening during the rainy or stormy weather. It is only during funerals that their true forms are revealed, and as a result, they are known to snatch corpses and spirit them to hell for punishment. Kasha will animate a corpse as a puppet or simply eat it as a meal. More often than not, the Kasha is known to indulge in the latter. In 1942, police were called to shoo ghosts from Kamauki. On August 13th, 1942, an article appeared in our Honolulu Star Bulletin that described a haunting incident that they blamed on the evil doings of the kahuna. Answering a call at 1:25 a.m., Police Sergeant Mosley Cummings and Patrolman Robert Anseth found a 10-year-old Hawaiian boy and his two sisters, ages 18 and 20, on their living room sofa shrieking in fear. The mother, also shrieking, was waving leaves and sprinkling Hawaiian salt to ward off ghosts. The mother stated that at 10 p.m., her 10-year-old son detected the odor of a ghost in their home, and apparently angered by being found out, the spirits attacked him and subsequently his two sisters, repeatedly attempting to strangle them. "My husband, who left me, is to blame," the mother added. After a struggle that lasted a good hour and a half, the police yielded the trouble home to the kahuna and took the woman to her sister's home for safety around 3 a.m. The Hawaiian woman's earlier use of the thai leaf, water, and salt to ward off the harmful spirits proved to be fruitless, as she now pointed out one of the officer's arms. "Look, you're covered with goose pimples." Fast forward to October 31st, 1972, Halloween editorial about local ghost stories that describe a call to HPD regarding a haunted house. Whether it's the same house from the previous story in 1942 is unknown because no address was given for either location. What is known is that an urgent call comes from 3 girls who are sharing a house that the neighborhood considered haunted. The girls heard strange noises in the house, like someone was moving around and talking. One of the girls said she felt an unusual physical sensation of someone resting their hand on her arm. Consequently, their call to the HPD involved a request for the officers to follow the girls to where one of the girls lived. The girls got into their car and the officer got into his. They drove down the avenue when suddenly the girl driving pulled into an Oasis Cafe parking lot. According to the report, the police officer would later file, the girl sitting in the middle of the front seat began fighting off something that was strangling her. However, there was nothing there. The officer left his car and reached into the girl's car to assist. But he said he was grabbed by a big calloused hand that was not there. It was completely invisible, but it twisted his arm. That's when he ran back to his squad car and radioed for assistance. The officer then took the girl who was being attacked and was hysterical and put her in his car. He urged the other 2 girls to follow, but unfortunately his squad car wouldn't start. He asked the girl to get back in the car with her friends, and his car immediately started. The 2 cars drove for about 5 yards, and suddenly the door of the girl's car flew open and the same girl fell out onto the road. She was tearing at her throat as if someone was choking her. The police officer's backup arrived. Together, the two policemen were not strong enough to pull the hands away from her. The sergeant ran into the Oasis Cafe and came out with a handful of salt and a glass of water, which he sprayed on everyone, and calm was immediately restored. Although this editorial was meant for Halloween, the contributors are highly respected Hawaiian historians who also shared their personal accounts in the same editorial. So this story may be based on fact. Fast forward again to 1994 when a book about Obake and ghost stories in Hawaii is written and published by a professor of American history from an international college in Honolulu. Glenn, the author, talks about a character named McDougal who is a hardened private eye with the Honolulu International Detective Agency. Glenn himself told me McDougal is a fictional character. It says so right in the book. The tale is written in an old pulp novel style with no nonsense edge to it, though his partner, the unwitting detective, becomes involved in the world of betrayal and the supernatural. I don't want to give too much detail because you should really read it for yourself, but I will tell you that McDougal becomes an eyewitness to a horrific deed of the Kasha. As for the location of the actual home, if you take careful note, in the book, the exact location is never mentioned. Neither is it mentioned in either of the two newspaper articles that were printed 30 years apart from one another. The consensus is the house was definitely on Harding. Most people believed 8th and Harding because there was indeed a documented case of murder that took place in that house. Glenn, the author of the book, however, thinks the second house on the left, 2nd Avenue in Harding, because it has a headstone in the back of the house where the mother-in-law of the infamous Kasha story was buried. But as you see from this listing, there's tons of haunted places just for you there in Honolulu, and they look pretty cheap too. Thank you for joining us on another Sinister Sunday. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Don't forget to check out our Sinister Sunday playlist for more content, and we'll see you on the next one.